my name's
It's okay.
my name's Alexis. I'm from the Bronx Borough President's Office. I just came to share some upcoming events with you guys. We have Tour de Bronx on Sunday, October 27th. It's a bicycling event. We also have a Bronx annual Halloween Pumpkin Fest on Thursday, October 31st. It's from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. It will be taking place at the 47th Precinct. Also, a full report was shared with the board office. We're going to ask the board office to share that with the board members and also the community. And that's it. Thank you. Yes.
31st,
The 31st
from 4 to 7.
from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Okay? Okay. All right. You good? Okay, all right, thank you, Madam Borough President, Rep. Okay, let me just say this. I've been sick for quite a bit, and I wasn't able to attend the last meeting. I just want to thank the board and the community for electing me as your chair again. Now, it's one thing to be elected as a chair. It's another thing to be sick home and not to be here and to be elected as a chair. I thank you for your support, and I will give you as much as I possibly can as your chair for the duration of my next term. I see we do have some changes. I want to congratulate the new first vice chair. We have a new treasurer as well, and I understand that we're going to be, yes, a new secretary as well. She's out today, but we have a new secretary. I'm going to be taking them out to lunch or dinner in about a week or two, so we can sit down and develop a relationship that's close and that we can serve this community as a tight-knit group. I want us all to come together and to move in a vertical direction. Vertical, I mean progressive direction, okay? I also want to congratulate my opponent, who was able to get quite a few votes as a young person on the board. So congratulations. And I always said that we will not be here forever, so we want our young people to get involved and to move ahead and to move up. So continue to compete with us. That makes a healthy democratic process healthier. So, okay? But again, I'm going to, again, thank this board for giving me the opportunity to serve you again, okay? Now, I've listened to our district manager and some of the criticisms he's had, and one of the criticisms he's had was our committee structure. So I'm going to be looking into that. I'm going to look at combining some boards, maybe eliminating some boards, maybe changing some chairs. We're going to be looking at that in the next couple of weeks. The chairs that are doing a good job and the committees that are functioning will continue to function. But we need to improve certain areas like our education and combine certain committees so that we can be more effective and have the chairs come and have meetings that are effective as well. So I just want to let you know that I'm going to be paying very close attention to that. Right now, I want to give an opportunity to our assembly person to speak. And since he's here, he has a busy schedule, so thank you for coming, and please address our committee, our board. On.
You know, if you hold it the wrong way, it says no. It's on. Okay. Good evening, everybody. First, I'm glad you're back and on your feet. Hope you continue to feel better and better every day. Your district manager probably reported on this at a previous meeting, but I just wanted to emphasize, recently there was an announcement, and I know there was an announcement because I saw George Torres all over the TV on it. Yeah, you were all over the TV. Yeah, he was hogging the spotlight from the elected officials. I won't say anything because I wasn't there. So our assembly leader, Speaker Carl Hastie, and the assembly and the city came to an agreement on something which is very important to a lot of people who are homeowners, and I'm sure we have a number of those here. And I'm just looking at the little flyer we have on it, but it concerns the sidewalk trees. I think most of you probably know about this. How many people have had trouble with the tree in front of their house? Because the tree, I mean, I don't know about you, but I love trees. I love trees. But one of the problems is that the city trees that are planted, all too often they lift up the sidewalk, and guess who gets held responsible for the cost involved in fixing the sidewalk or a fine? You do, but no more. Because the new arrangement is that with the city, liens against homeowners for damages caused by city trees will be canceled, and there'll be a review of all outstanding sidewalk violations. There's also going to be a complete, for 5,500 locations, urgent repairs around the city over the next few years, and they'll be expediting the reevaluation process for homeowners in the process of selling or refinancing their homes in terms of how any of these things affect that. So this has really been a thorn in people's sides for many years. So this is one of the times we can say that there's good news for people, and it'll probably save some people a lot of money. For those of you who in the past paid to fix the sidewalk, sorry, you're not going to get reimbursed, but going forward, the story will be very different. So it's nice to see that there's some progress made. I think at the last time I was here, I mentioned some of the things that we accomplished in Albany this year. I know most of you like to hear about things happening in the neighborhood, as do I, but we got so much done in Albany that we just can't help keep talking about it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say that as much as was done this year, and it really was a record amount of legislation that was done, and good legislation, affecting every possible area you can imagine, from schools to criminal justice reform to transportation to election reform, and rent reform. And, you know, some people say, gee, we did everything we had to do, so there's nothing left. No, there's always a lot more to do. There's always stuff to do. And so we're putting together our agenda for the coming year. And from time to time, I'll hope to report. During the legislative session, we're often in Albany on the nights that the board meets, so it's a little harder to get to as many meetings, but I do try to attend when I can. Assemblyman Hastie and I represent the area covered by the board. He actually represents the majority of it. But we will keep everybody in mind. And if, by the way, if people have specific issues that you know should be addressed in Albany, I come up with a lot of great ideas, but honestly, some of my best ideas are really ideas that people gave to me, people in the neighborhoods. You know, people think of all kinds of great ideas for legislation. So in the coming months, I think you should feel free to reach out. And in the meanwhile, I will stop, and I'll hang out for a few minutes.
Okay.
Thursday nights tend to be very busy, but thank you so much, and have a very, if I don't see you before, then have a very good Thanksgiving.
Thank you for coming by. Appreciate you. Okay. Eric, would you please come up and maybe we'll get you to the mic. And this Eric Dinowitz, our Assemblyman's son, and he has a few things
That's
he
true.
wants to address to us.
We're all someone's son or daughter, aren't we?
Okay.
My name's Eric Dinowitz. I'm also your Democratic district leader. And I just came by to make sure that everyone's aware that for the first time this year, we're having something very special. It's called early voting. Has anyone here gotten something in the mail about early voting?
Yes.
Okay, good. It's very important that we're doing everything we can to make sure all of us have the opportunity to vote. Regular election day still is November 5th, and you'll still go to your regular polling site. But if you want to vote early, starting this Saturday, October 26th, all the way through November 3rd, you have the opportunity to vote early, and there are some very important things on the ballot. I think most of you would be voting early at St. Anthony's Church. Is that right? That's what your letter said? Well, the early voting, there's Truman High School. Okay, there's only a handful of early voting sites, and it may or may not be different than your regular polling sites. So if you want to vote early, I encourage you to make sure you look at what you got in the mail, or you can look online. But there are some very, very important things in the ballot I want to make sure that we're all aware of. There are, of course, candidates which we usually vote for, public advocate, some judgeships, and district attorney. But this year we also have the opportunity to change our city charter. There are things involving civilian complaint review boards, ethics, things like that. One of the ones I want to make sure we all know about is land use, and it's something that's very important with regard to community boards. Ballot proposal number 5, if it passes, would change the city charter to allow our community boards to have more information and have that information for a longer period of time during the ULURP process. So I'm here, in addition to encouraging you to vote, I hope you all vote yes for ballot proposal number 5, which would give our community board more time and more information with regard to changes to our zoning for the ULURP procedure. I thank you all very much, and please go out and vote. If you want to vote early, great, please do. I encourage you all to do so. Thank you.
Thank you for coming by. Sure, Carl?
This
had
feels
a
like my
question?
class. This feels like my classroom. Yes, sir. I'm really a teacher in real life. You have a pass? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know what agenda he's following.
Yes.
He's from TCR, he wants to talk Shahi.
So my student over here is talking about the fact that it gives community boards more time to review changes to the zoning, but particularly in the summer, I think it gives 90 days, even more time, because the city's aware that community boards don't necessarily meet as often over the summer. So I'm glad you feel the same way. But that only happens if we go out and vote. It only happens if we all go out and vote. So please do so.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you for coming by. George, you ready for your report? Sure. Okay.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
I don't have much to say. I attended a community board orientation for new board members this past Monday at Lehman College. I learned that this is the first year for term limits, meaning all newly appointed board members and reappointments for this year are limited to 4 consecutive terms, or 8 years in total. Next year's appointments and reappointments will start the second set of term limits for board members. Therefore, let us not make haste. We should start to reform our bylaws so that everyone has a chance to participate by enacting term limits for every executive position and committee chairperson on this board. There are other policies that the Bronx Borough President's Office requested to be adopted into the bylaws. We shared an email with this board in June on the discipline policy and procedures for community boards. Finally, there are a significant number of board members that need to take the New York City Sexual Harassment Training Program from DCAS. You can arrange your training with either Ursula or myself. The deadline, according to the Bronx Borough President's Office, is December 13th. I'm just going to add, we had a very long meeting last month, and there was a complaint from the gallery that the public did not have an opportunity to speak. We addressed that by putting an agenda together that put the public session at the very beginning of this meeting. And yet, again, here we are, not hearing from the public. We do this every single month. I don't understand why this is so difficult. We have elected officials that have continuously not been able to speak at our board meetings that complain to me. I don't share those complaints with you because it's not for me to share it with you. I try to do this through the agenda. And again, you guys have an opportunity to weigh in. This agenda was sent out to you more than a week ago. And yet here we are the day of, and we're stating to the public, oh, we're just going to skip around because that's what we chose to do. That's unacceptable. There is an agenda, we should follow it. Today marks my 1,544th day as your district manager, or 4 years, 2 months, and 22nd day of my tenure here. I look forward to each and every day at the board. Thank you, and good night.
Okay, thank you, George. All right. Okay, let me address the change in the public gallery session. I want to hear the public, and I'm trying to get our business out of the way so that I can sit down and give those 3 minutes and listen with my ears to the public without rushing and thinking about the other business we have. So that was my technique in terms of moving the gallery. So I want to listen very carefully to the public. So just to set that straight. Okay.
Point of information. Did you ask the board if you could?
I think I did.
Did they voted on it?
I believe I did say I'd like to move this around a little bit at the beginning. So, but okay.
You have to ask
Okay.
for a vote.
Okay.
Otherwise
Okay.
it won't
All right.
work.
All right. All right.
Carl has a question.
Carl?
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Excuse me. My question is on the term limits. You said it was 8 years, 4 consecutive 2-year terms. When does that start, or has it started?
So at the new board, now this was a new community board orientation, so I guess anybody can go, but this was the invitation only for new community board members. Tom Lucania, who is our representative and the liaison for the Borough President's Office and Director of Community Boards, stated that, and I didn't know that either, that this was the first year that they're enacting. So what are we in 2019 now? So what's 8 years? 2027? So anybody who is appointed this year, we have 3 new board members with us. We have Hussein Abdul,
We have, yeah.
Alfia, and Denise Bond. Alfia Magnalas, right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get it right. I apologize. And we have Miss Denise Bond. So they're newly appointed, and if they get appointed consecutively, they will be able to serve 8 years. And then because they didn't want to have the community boards depleted at one time, next year, they staggered the terms. Next year, whoever gets reappointed or appointed for next year starts the second wave of 4 consecutive, for 8 years.
Okay.
But past doesn't, past membership doesn't include it.
Yeah, no, even if you serve, and we should actually make note that in the borough of the Bronx, Community Board 12 has the longest serving board member ever appointed in Carl Stricker. So that's actually something to praise. So
Okay.
I don't know if Carl is up this year or next year, but if he continuously gets reappointed, he will be able to serve 8 more years.
Okay. And I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Okay. All right. Thank you, George. Okay. Briefly, I only have a few items. We had a borough board meeting this morning. Am I not? I'm good. Okay. We had a borough board meeting this morning. At that meeting, I was informed by Tom Lucania that they are requesting that we develop a disciplinary committee at the board level. This committee will listen to and hear issues of staff as well as board members in terms of issues. Now, the Borough President's Office will also be developing a disciplinary committee. So in some cases, we may be hearing a disciplinary issue here at the board level, and it may go to the Borough President level. So I'm just letting you know that we're going to be developing a disciplinary committee here at Board 12, and that will happen probably in the next couple of weeks when we have our exec meeting and I meet with our first and second vice chair. Okay. Also, on the 19th of November at 6 o'clock, we have a mandatory meeting. That mandatory meeting is for the chair, the first vice chair, the second vice chair, and the treasurer. And it's going to be a mandatory conflict of interest board meeting with a presentation conflict of interest. So just to let the first, second vice chair and myself know, we're going to be attending that meeting as well. Now, I did ask, it's not for the exec committee. 19, yeah, it's Tuesday, 6 o'clock. That's okay. I'm going to repeat again. It's not for the exec. I did request if the exec needed to show up, and they don't. It's just the executive folks up here. Ms. G, you had a question?
You corrected what I was going to ask. So it's 6 o'clock, and it's in the membership.
It's going to be at 161st Street for us.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't
All right.
hear that one.
Yes,
All
yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, sir.
So you'll know it. The transportation committee that are making the changes will be returning to our board. I know Carl can't wait till they come, but they will be returning to our board to speak to you again on the changes that they were proposing to make. They gave a very comprehensive presentation this morning. And I do believe that they listened to the population in the Bronx in terms of making some changes. Now, I know everybody is not completely in agreement with the changes that they're making, but they're going to come back, so we'll have an opportunity to speak to them again. I'm going to try to make that arrangement, if not next month, the month after next. I know usually in December we don't have a meeting, but I'm going to try to get them in here before December so that we can really sit down and speak to them before the holidays. I think that would be a good idea. Okay, so as I said before, I try to get our business out of the way so we can go to Community Speaks, and I want to hear what the public has to say, and I don't want to have to rush. And we've gotten a good 80% of our business complete. So at this point, I'm going to ask the first vice chair and the second vice chair to go to Community Speaks, and we're going to give them their 3 minutes, and maybe in some cases 4. So I'm very interested in what you have to say. So you can take it at this point. First and second vice chair. Second vice chair, would you just time us for the 3?
Okay. The first person up is Ms. Opal McCullough.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Opal. Hi. I'm here from Mind Builders. Mind Builders is a community-based institution. We have been in the community for 40 years. We are a creative arts center. We offer classes in music, all genres of dance. We have a teen theater program. We have a folk culture program. And we also have classes for adults as well. I'm here because we have just kicked off our program year. So we still have a lot of open classes. And we're actually offering free trial classes for you to come in, check out a class. And we are excited to continue being a part of this community. I have brochures and trial passes in the back, so feel free to get a packet. Give us a call. We're located on Olinville Avenue, and we're open Tuesday through Saturday. We also have a universal pre-K program, so I expect to see you all there. We have a Zumba for adults. We have Afro beats for adults. We have karate for adults. We have everything, multi-purpose, okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, the classes are not free, but we do not turn anyone away. We do have what is called our work exchange programs. Families are able to put in work equity to offset the cost of tuition, but we turn no one away. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Mr. Keith Black.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is David Cobb. I'm the Senior Director for BRAG, Bronx Rises Against Gun Violence, a program of Good Shepherd Services.
Good evening. My name is Keith Black. I'm the Violence Interrupter Supervisor for BRAG.
All right. Thank you for the 3 minutes. A lot of you know who we are. You've probably seen our uniforms and our gear. We work with high-risk youth. We've been here since 2015, so we're establishing 4 years in this community. And in that time, we've helped hundreds of youth move away from the high-risk activities in the streets. That includes violent street organizations, shootings, assaults, things of that nature. I bring you good news in that we originally started out at 4011 Bronxwood Avenue, and because of our success rate, the city has decided to allow us to expand our services by providing additional funding. And with that funding, we actually moved to a new location. So we are officially now at 825 East 233rd Street, around the corner on Bussing. And in fact, we have 2 events coming up that we'd like for the community to come and stop by. Obviously, it's Halloween, right? And we want the children in the community to be safe. So we're doing a Halloween party in our new site. And we hope that you can come and bring the kids out, and we have a lot of tricks and treats for them. So please come out. It starts at 3 p.m. on Halloween until 7 p.m. In addition to that, obviously we moved into a new space, bigger and better. We didn't have a kitchen, we do now. We only had 1 bathroom. We have multiple bathrooms, conference rooms, so on and so forth, and expanded our services to educational, vocational services, because it's not just about stopping the violence in the street, it's about doing something with them once they do put that weapon down. And so we also have a music studio, employment program, you name it, come and stop by. The best time to stop by is actually on November 13th at 1 p.m. is our grand opening. My colleague will distribute some flyers out with the information and details. Please come out. We have invited and expect the borough president, Senator Jamal Bailey, to come out, the speaker, Carl Hasty, the commanding officer of the 4-7, Inspector Hernandez. So please come out and join us, see our new space. We're in the community, we're here to serve. We have been, but we'd like to get to know you much, much better. And we have brand new, bigger locations, so please come out. Thank you for your time.
Just want to ask one question. Do you ever encounter a situation where someone will bring the firearm to your location?
Where someone,
Will bring the gun to your location?
Yeah, so we actually know how to make sure we know all the rules and the policy behind surrendering a weapon, a pistol, a gun, a firearm. There's gun buyback programs. Going to be very clear, we are a public health approach to the violence issue and not a law enforcement one. But I do meet with the commander from time to time, as well as his XO and his community affairs officers. We have a very good relationship. And so that can be arranged, absolutely.
So someone can surrender weapons.
Yes, we have done that. I am that person. My staff's not allowed to do that, but they know immediately to call me and we can make those arrangements.
All right, thank you.
All right, appreciate your time.
Okay. Ivan, we have a question. Ivan?
I'm sorry, and this also goes out for Officer Alexander. I believe we had 2 shootings last month, right? 2 separate occasions. Just wanted to know what type of triage work is being done in terms of, our community.
Sure. So from our side of it, we have a position that we've established, and all this training comes through the Department of Health, Health and Hospitals, the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. We have a position called hospital responder. So in this area, when someone is injured, suffers a serious trauma from a gun shooting, a stabbing, or a beating, they're taken to Jacoby Hospital primarily. So our hospital responder is responsible for meeting with our violence interpreters at the site where the victim was assaulted, and then follow up in the hospital where we go and meet with the emergency room, the nurses, and we offer our services to the victim. The family that comes to the waiting room, we offer our services to them. And then our violence interpreter, along with the supervisor, Mr. Black here, they make sure that the retaliation doesn't occur. Yes.
Okay, thank you. We got 3 minutes up. 3 minutes is up. We got to move. Next person. Next person. Thank you.
Miss Adrienne Finley.
Can you come to the, you don't want to?
Ma'am.
All right, give her a microphone. Give her a mic. Okay.
I live on Sidewalk Avenue between Dreama and Wilder, and we have a problem with cars being parked there. There's residents that are not homeowners who buy cars and auctions, bring around our neighborhood and park them for months. They're untagged cars. We call in the police department, we call in the board as well. There's still cars still out there, and they're not being moved.
Okay, I think maybe let the NCO officer address that.
Could you, what was the address again?
It's on Sidewalk Avenue between
Okay. So that's not Sector Adam, but I can speak as for how we deal with this. We do tow operations. So it's very tough for us to get the adequate personnel to rectify that issue. But we do. We set it up every couple months. We're allowed a tow operation. So we coordinate. Ma'am, are you listening to me? I'm answering your question. Okay. So what we do is your sector will be due shortly for their opportunity to conduct a tow operation. For example, John and I just conducted one. We removed like 64 vehicles out of Sector Adam, including tractor trailers, campers, box trucks, cars, motorcycles, bicycles, you name it. If it's derelict and it doesn't belong there, we removed it. We worked 18 hours straight. Many agencies involved, sanitation, the traffic agents, heavy tow from downtown. So we all work together, sanitation, police, and we do these tow operations. So I will document that. I will let your steady sector know. That would be a great thing to bring up at Tuesday night's meeting if you're going to go to the Build-A-Block meeting. What's that?
And
Okay,
at Mount St. Michael's, yes.
Okay, first Vice Chair wants to make a comment.
let me say this, Ms. Finley, I have seen, in fact, so I live in Sector Adam, and so I have seen these two officers do exactly what they're talking about in Sector Adam. So again, I don't know if you come to the 4-7 precinct council meetings, but if you don't, they're there along with our precinct council chair. I think Pam is yep, she's right here. So if you look back, you can see her. She just waved her hand. So she could address this as well, but we can get this taken care of for you, okay? All right. Next, Miss Alvina Jarvis. Ms. Jarvis, come to the mic, please. Yes, please, yes.
Oh, you want to stay there? All right, give her a mic. She wants to stay. Everybody wants to be seated tonight. Okay, we can do that.
I'm very shy.
Okay.
Okay. I've lived in this area for 30 plus years.
We can't hear you, Ms. Jarvis. Can you speak up, please?
I've lived in this area for about 30 years.
We still can't hear you, ma'am. It's still difficult to hear you.
I do not have a large mouth. Okay. Got louder. I have lived in this area for 30 years and more. I've seen a lot of changes in my area. This house has been vacant for a few months. The address is 4102 Wilder Avenue. It has become a parking lot for a business. I've seen the tow truck bring cars in the yard, leave it. In fact, I tried to get a picture. In fact, I have several pictures that I have given to Hastings' office. I've called the 311 and also sanitation. And I spoke to the supervisor. He was great, and he did help me out for a while. However, in this yard, we have 7+ vehicles. We're not talking about small vehicles. We're talking about large ones. There is no one living there. My neighbor who has small children, she now let her child play in the back because she has seen rodents. She has called 311, and at this point, we are at our within. So I'm asking for help from you
Okay,
guys.
now you say there's no one living there, but
Whomever is there.
So the cars are there.
The cars are there. Children, they're coming in her yard.
Okay.
Now, we call the health department. If you go on, I guess, record, you will find numerous complaints
All right.
given.
I think the officer's going to address you.
Yes, so this is also a perfect example of something you could bring up at your Build-A-Blog meeting, which is Tuesday. So that's Sector Boy. With this, I'll just tell you real quick, it's personal property, private property. There's nothing I can do about it. The Department of Buildings, on the other hand, can look into it, see how many parking spots are allotted for that property. And I just, Michael just pulled it up on Google, and I count 9 there on when the Google photo was taken. So I'm pretty sure they don't have 9 parking spots. So the Department of Buildings will then issue summonses to the owner of the property. But this is something you can also, you know, as far as the Department of Buildings and who to contact, you can go through your NCO for that. That's what this whole program is about. So we encourage you to come to the meeting Tuesday, get in contact, or you can reach out to us, get in contact with your NCOs, and bring this up to them, and you know they will guide you with the Department of Buildings to help rectify this issue.
Okay, thank you again, officer.
Need help, we need either the bumps, or we need stop signs, or cameras, or a light. And this has been ongoing for years.
All right, so as far as speed bumps, signs, cameras, that's all Department of Transportation. And I'll be honest with you, because I'm a straight shooter. As soon as we file the complaint with the DOT, they tell us 18 months for them to do a survey, and so there's certain blocks they're allowed to put speed bumps on. There's certain blocks they're not. It depends on the truck routes and all this other stuff that's out of my league. As far as like the speeding and stuff like that, we can notify. We have a TSEP unit, which is a traffic safety unit, and that's all they do is write summonses. So this is also another great. They can document it. They work with the TSEP. We'll get the times. Obviously, if you're talking about school buses, we're talking about 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, drop off in the afternoon.
We'd appreciate if they'd come out and ticket.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on. Thank you again, officer.
Mr. Toba LaCrown.
Thank you very much. My name is Toba LaCrown, as been said, and I was here last month, and we had a very terrible experience. That was where the issue of respecting the community came up. I saw the agenda you guys have tonight, and we really want to implore the new board to follow the agenda. So we had a long day coming to these meetings. So please let us speak first, that you can do your meetings later. I think we will respect that. Thank you very much. Tonight, I want to speak to us on the issue of 2020 census. I work for Department of Commerce and the Bureau of Census. We know 2020 census is by the corner. So these 3 minutes is not enough for me to really tell us what is in it. But the one thing I want you to take home from here, that after this meeting, you could invite us to your block association meetings, your churches, your organization, for us to come and actually talk about it. But just in a minute, I want to let us know that for Census 2020, the biggest challenge we had in 2010 was that people don't want to open their doors to be counted. This year, we have a total sum of, we have 10 people here. Maybe census officer come here, they only account for 4. Federal government will release funds for 4 people, but only 10 people will be scavenging for those resources. That is the problem that we have. We also need to understand that census is every 10 years. If you have a little boy this year, 1 year old, and you don't count that little boy, that means the funding for that young man for 10 years was not accounted for. By the time we come back again, that little boy will be 11 years. So now look at it, if it's 4, 5. So we complain all the time. But these are the areas that we really need to get involved. So I want to tell us here, please, let us do this to help ourselves. At the beginning of the year, some of us got the message that citizenship is going to be in the form. That has been taken out. So don't use that as an excuse. And even if you find it in the form, complete the form and leave that particular area out. But don't use that as an excuse. Then, census started in the country as far back as 1790. But for the very first time, we will be able to do the counting on our phone, on the computer. So you really don't need to go out if you respond to the questionnaire on time. these questions will start coming in mid-March when we're supposed to fill it out. Then after that, you don't fill it out. Then Census Day is April 1st. That is when they now send people to knock on your doors. And I know from experience, some of you don't act well with those individuals coming to your door. They are federal employees. They're not even city workers. So I'm saying this, thank you for the time, so that we know what we are up against. So you could call me to your church, to your house, or maybe to your community. If this meeting was last week, I would tell us that we have the opportunity to actually apply for a community-based organization fund. The deadline was yesterday, so we miss out on that. But we'll continue to hit the ground and talk about it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. LeCrown.
Yes, I do have them outside here.
So, Mr. LeCrown, I know that, we say at 3, but I think what you said is very, very important as far as us falling asleep. And that's something that, we're going to talk about a little bit later on tonight, but we as a community cannot fall asleep. And that's exactly what, you've implored us to do. So it was okay to be a little bit lengthier than 3 minutes, because I think that's something that...
Before it became Montefiore Masalou Community Center, I've worked in midnight basketball in the community. I've worked in developmentally disabled work on the very land mass that you're building, the new YMCA. I've worked in group homes. I've worked in non-secure detention. I work in foster care presently. And one of the horrifying things to me is that when it comes to child welfare, a lot of times it's dominated by black and brown families that have been destroyed, that have been traumatized. And a lot of times the way the work is presented, it doesn't speak to the fact that black and brown peoples, more than a lot of other racial ethnic groups, have suffered from racism, have suffered from poverty, have suffered from indignities that a lot of other communities haven't suffered from. One of the things that I constantly came and speak to the board before, because I used to come religiously from the late 90s until around, maybe 2011, is that a lot of times when we look at our young people, we cast burdens of blame on them as if we haven't let our young people down time and time again. Dr. King said you have to give people a stake in their society. People who feel like they have a stake in their society will seek to protect the society. But people who feel like they have no stake in the society will seek to destroy that society. I feel like more has to be done. Not just from our politicians, but yes, our politicians. Not just from our religious leaders, but yes, our religious leaders. But also our community members. We have to do more to come out and lock arms and join hands and not continue to allow our children to go from precious babies, with joyful laughter and what have you, to be turned into zombies, to be turned into monsters and parasites, as if we have nothing to do with that transformation. There is a criminalization of our youth going on before our very eyes. And we can't just put the blame on them for when they fall through the cracks. We have to take more of that blame upon ourselves and do more positive things. I would like to know how we can begin to promote skills and trades and business and entrepreneurial training and support. When I go throughout my community, sometimes I'm horrified because I see the business and economics a lot of times dominated by racial, ethnic, what I would call outsiders. People who did not grow up in this community, people who don't live in this community, and people who don't have a vested interest in this community. And at sundown, like Malcolm said, they take the basket full of money to another part of the town, another part of the country, or another part of the world. And then we wonder why we can't save our youth. We wonder why we can't provide employment to our youth and enrichment programs to our youth. And we say things like we just need to give them something to do, you know, as if a basketball or a football is the answer to help our youth. Yeah, I like playing basketball and I like playing football growing up, but I also like to have the opportunity to have a skill or a trade and put some money in my pocket so I could be there for myself and be there for my son. And if we give our young people an opportunity to make an honest dollar in the community that they grew up in, I guarantee you that a lot of them will leave some of the delinquent behaviors that they may be involved in and leave that alone and begin to cut a straight path and be positive in their own communities, benefits to their own communities. Last thing I want to say is, my name is Brother Mike. A lot of you know me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my Instagram so you can connect with me. It's BRUTHAMIKEX. BRUTHAMIKEX. I'm willing to work with anyone. And I know sometimes when someone like myself stands up, people get scared. Oh, he sounds radical. Oh, he sounds angry. Trust me, I got a lot of love for my people and I got a lot of love for the Northeast Bronx. I might not have a degree behind my name, but I'm hell of intelligent. You know what I mean? I would like to see community events in this neighborhood to reawaken a strong racial, cultural, and spiritual dignity for our families and for our communities, where we don't just respond to the latest killing, but we begin to fight for the spirit, the soul of a person. We are all children of the Most High God, and we got to begin to give our people an opportunity to flourish. And having said that, I thank you for the extra time because I know you let me go over 3 minutes. And I'm willing to work again with anyone. I might not stay to the end of the meeting tonight, but some of you know me directly, and reach out to me. I'm willing to work with anyone in this community to fight for the soul of this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Mr. Michael Felter.
Good evening, Community Board 12. Good evening, residents of the community. I'm from the East 233rd Street, White Plains Road Merchants Association. We're going to be holding a second annual Halloween event all along White Plains Road from Gun Hill Road up to 241st. We have movie night, we have painting, we have games, and we have a haunted house along White Plains Road that we're going to be doing on October 31st. The event's going to start from 3:30 p.m. and go to 7 p.m. at night. There's flyers on the outside table if anybody's interested. Come join us, have some fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Next is Miss Veronica Thompson.
Hi, good night. I'm Dr. Veronica Thompson. I actually live on Dreama Avenue, and I am having a problem because at 4096 Dreama, someone purchased a house, and it's now a rooming house. I've called the district board several times. I've spoken to someone here, I think approximately 3 weeks ago, and I keep being told, give us a couple more days. They couldn't get access to the house. And it's now a eyesore. There are things coming through the window. There are several people living there. The person who purchased the house, I learned, lived at 186th Street, or still live at 183rd Street. And that person doesn't come and clean up. And it's really bringing our community down. And I live in that neighborhood for more than 30 years. I live in that particular address for 16 years, and I have a lot of pride in my house. And most of us on that block really love our home. And this person have now moved into the community and have damaged that entire corner. And I would like the district to do something. And if they can't, tell me what I need to do because I'm willing to do it.
Have you spoken to Ursula Green? Have you come in and spoken to Ursula?
I heard her saying yes, so I guess that's the person.
Okay.
But I'm tired of the
All right.
moving on. I would like to see some action.
All right, ask her to make an appointment with me sometime next week. I will sit down and speak with you. Yes, Ursula.
Let me just say,
Okay.
have spoken.
Okay.
I
Uh-huh.
I'm waiting on DHS to
Okay.
get back to me. I wrote a letter to the landlord.
Okay.
I put in a complaint with sanitation.
Okay, so we can't do better than that, so let's just stand by. We will
So what should I look forward to?
just wait until Ursula gets a response. When she gets a response, she's going to give us a response.
So one other issue, right at the corner of Dreama and Edenwall, for years I've been calling to have that section repaired. And every couple of months they'll come and dump some sand in it, and those of us that live in Dreama, we reap the repercussion of it. Because
Okay.
you know what happens when you throw sand in a hole and it's not done properly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I would like to see that corner be fixed and fixed properly. The last time they were doing it, I was told that area was next for construction. It never happened.
Okay,
Okay?
all right. We'll
Thank
be
you.
responsive to you, and thank you. We need, ma'am, we need to have structure here, so the next person needs to come up.
Next and last is is this Crystalline Alphonse? Did I say that correctly? Oh, Crystalline, okay.
Did you sign in, is that Miss Baines? Okay, we'll hear you. We'll hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead. We'll hear you, ma'am.
Hi, you guys. My name is
Okay.
Crystal Alphonse. I live in the Wakefield area, and I want to address one of the biggest problems and invisible issues that's happening in the Bronx. I first want to ask by a show of hands, are there any dog owners, dog lovers? Show of hands?
Dog?
Nobody owns a dog?
Yes.
You said owners or lovers?
Dog owner, dog lover, show of hand. Okay, the people that still have their dog, their hand up, are you one of the ones that's not cleaning up after your dog? No. Come on. Keep them hands up. Okay, so I just want to touch upon, that's one of the invisible issues that's constantly happening in the Bronx, right? Is that correct? Whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a tenant, whatever it is, that's one of the issues. In fact, the Bronx have one of the highest dog waste complaints in all the 5 boroughs. We love dogs, but we don't like to clean up after them. So I reached out to Andy Cohen's office, and I've worked with Patrick Hill and Victoria Thomas, and they came up with one of the temporary issues, and it's basically they created a flyer, and they also created a sign for any homeowner that would like to affix it to their property, so people will know, you know what, be a little bit more responsible and pick up after your dog. You know, these are things that sometimes, you know, people either they know, they don't care, but, you know, that's still not going to really solve the issue because people are still going to do it. But if you're interested, what Andy Cohen's office, they have the signs for anyone that's interested. You could go pick up a sign, put it on top, next to your property, on top of your property, and at least people in the community will know, you know, you're the type of neighborhood that don't want to have that type of issue on your streets because everybody want to be able to walk face forward, not have to always be looking down and dodging and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
So these are the signs. If anyone's
Okay.
interested, you could pick it up at their office. Okay? It's 277 West 231st Street. That's where they're going to have it. So if you're a landlords, property management associations, this is a great thing to enclose for your tenants. You know, if you're a homeowner, put it on your fence so people will get the message. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that topic up. All right. That concludes. Now, I think Ms. Baines, you said that you had signed up, so please come up. All right, please come up, Ms. Baines, and we'll listen to what you have to say.
Hello, good evening, community. Making it real quick within 3 minutes. Brother Mike, I need to connect with you. I wrote down service needs, benefits, and entitlements and community displacement real quick. Community displacements has been happening over and over and over again, and it breaks my heart. And we're talking about the youth, and you was talking about the census, people not being counted. One of the issues is they're not there. They live there and they're being displaced, and there's a large percentage of illegal lockouts. The officers was here, and I wanted them to address that because one of the procedures the city tells you, if you're being illegally locked out by landlords, to call 911, to call the police. Sometimes they are not showing up, and the landlords feel that, not all, but a lot of them, that they are above the law, and they have subliminally said this. This is very serious. And when I see children and teenagers who were in their apartments are no longer there. So that is a struggle. I don't know who can address that, but I was hoping the officers will be here to address it, but they left.
We can bring that up again to him.
Please.
Yes.
Benefits in our community, educational grants, and continuing education grants, which is a need. Because there's, like myself, I'm a PCT, and I'm also a doula. There are others who are in the medical field, and sometimes they need help paying for continuing education. Just yesterday, somebody told me there is a continuing education grant. I don't know if anybody knows. So if you can let me know, let the board know, so we can get this information, because services and resources are important, and that's my mission personally, is to find these resources. As a Native Black American, we built this country on our backs, and I want to see some resources like today and right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baines. Okay. All right. Does that conclude? All right. That concludes Community Speaks. And just for the record, we heard and listened to everybody. So, okay. Okay. Yes. If the second vice chair would acknowledge the representatives.
Good
that are
evening,
here.
everyone. Is Nancy Geary from Jamal Bailey's office here? Do you have something to?
Good evening. I'm Nancy Geary from Senator Bailey's office. I'm the event coordinator. So just some updates about what we're doing right now. I don't know if any of you follow Senator Bailey on social media, but we have started a library tour of the 5 libraries in our district. So if you see outside, there's a flyer like this. 2 of them were in the morning time, 2 of them are in the afternoon. So we just invite the community to come enjoy a story with Senator Bailey, Kevin Riley, Assemblymember Michael Benedetto was there at the Baychester Library, and Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez will be there at Allerton Library this Saturday. Yes. So we definitely want to encourage literacy and the utilization of our public libraries, because aside from books, the library does offer e-books and a lot of electronic resources, and we don't want to see any of our libraries being closed because they're not being used. This Sunday, we will have a survivors event for breast cancer survivors as well as domestic violence survivors. It's from 2 to 6 at Butler United Methodist Church. We are also working with Morris Heights Health Center and Community Board 12 to provide a resource fair here at CB12 on November 15th. Okay, so the flyer will be out soon, but it'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kieran Ireland from Honorable Carl Hasty's office.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kieran Ireland from the office of Assemblyman Carl Hasty. I hope everyone is having a good night. I would like to invite everyone to, we are having a Halloween event for the kids in the district. It's going to be October 31st from 3 to 7 p.m. at Ridgefield Civic League, which is located at 3551 Laconia Avenue. So we do have a few more events coming out. I know Kevin Riley is Like he's working on planning a lot more events, so we should have a few events rolling out in November and in December. So you can we're gonna be forwarding them to Community Board 12. So make sure you're on their email blast so that you can get the information and you could come out to our events. But I think that's all I have to say, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Good
All
night,
right.
Cameron. Brian Melford from the Honorable Andy King's office.
Did he leave? He might have left.
He might have left? Okay.
He was here, he had a boat.
Is Mantex Santana Tavares here from Darcel Clark's office?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marilex Santana Tavares. I'm from the Bronx District Attorney's Office. I was newly appointed to service this community, so I will be attending every month to these meetings. I do have one announcement, is that this Saturday, October 26th, DA Clark will be hosting another chance event, which is a warrant amnesty program. So if anyone's looking to resolve any outstanding summonses, summonses of quality of life offenses. Also, you can come that day. Anyone that's looking to conceal old convictions, you have to be eligible for that. Basically, the eligibility is, well, let me just mention a few. You have to have at least 10 years without getting in trouble or getting arrested. They can't be felony convictions. And so you can come out to find out more information about that, to concealing old convictions, and also the removal of marijuana possession convictions. So we're looking to start the process of expunging old marijuana convictions. Obviously, you have to be eligible for that. And that's it. Oh, sorry. In addition to that, we will be having a resource fair. So not only are we bringing the courts to the community, we're also providing the community with all the resources that they need. So we'll have anything with medical insurance, anything with how to start your life of either going back to school, or if you're looking to find out more information about organizations or anything of that nature, or even looking to get back into the work field. So that is this Saturday. I have the flyers out in the front. They look like this. It's going to be from 9 to 4. So all you really need is going to be at the Thessalonia Worship Center. That's 941 Rev James A. Polite Avenue.
Where's that at?
Okay, I have a quick question I want to ask you. Are you going to be assigned to our board on a permanent basis?
Yes.
So I'd like to meet with you one
Of
day,
course.
next week or the week after, so we could sit down and just have a conversation.
Okay, perfect.
Okay?
If
All right.
anyone wants my business card,
Okay.
straight to
Would you leave one with me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will.
All right. Okay.
Next up is, question?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Victor Martinez from the Honorable Scott Stringer's office.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are you? I haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah, I miss you. Yeah. So, my name is Victor Martinez. I'm here on behalf of New York City Comptroller Scott Stringer. And today I'm going to report about our latest report that has to do as part of the National Domestic Violence Awareness Month that is currently in October. And it basically presents evidence that, for example, for fiscal year 2018, the single largest cause of homelessness was domestic violence in the city. For example, 40% of the family population that entered the shelter system in 2018, 40% it was because of domestic violence. Is to bring awareness about this, and specifically in the neighborhoods in the Bronx and Brooklyn are the most the victims that come into the shelter system. In the case of the Bronx, it's the 38% of survivors goes into shelter systems. So basically the comptroller is recommending to increase financial assistance to support survivors, access to housing, and expanding residential and non-residential services. If you have any questions, let me know. If you would like the copy of the report, I can give you my business card. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and see you around. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we have a few more items we have to move on. We still have more people. Okay, I'm sorry. Thought we were finished. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Barry Ray from Senator Baggy's office. Here.
Okay. Got a lot. Full house today.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, we could do a little better than that. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, God bless. My name is Benny. I'm from Senator Biaggi's office. We represent like the Woodlawn side of the district of Community Board 12. I have two announcements. It is Halloween season, and our office is hosting 2 Halloween parties. We have one coming up on the 26th, and that flyer looks like, if I can get it out, that flyer looks like this, and we have some up front. The Halloween party there's a costume party right before it that starts at 1 o'clock, and that is going to be at 725 Brady Avenue at PS 105. So the costume party starts at 1, but the Halloween party starts at 2 o'clock all the way up to 5 o'clock. That's October 26th on a Saturday. That is in partnership with the Office of Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez and City Council Member Mark Jonai. On this side of the Bronx, on the Kingsbridge side of the Bronx, we have another Halloween party that starts at 3:30 to 6:30. That's going to be at 505 West, 236th Street. There's going to be candy, and if you want to come decorate a pumpkin, you can do that as well. All right. Our office. Pardon me? So it's going to be from 3:30 to 6:30. And it's going to be at, I have it here, it's going to be on October 31st. That is a Thursday. We also have the flyers outside if you'd like a copy.
Okay, all right. At this point, I just wanted to extend an invitation to the senator when she's able to come by our board meeting every fourth Thursday, and if she's able to, I'd like to do that.
Of course. Thank you so much for that invitation.
Okay.
All right. You have a good evening, folks.
Okay.
Talia Lariano from the Bronx DA office.
I think she just, she just gave us, yeah.
Okay.
So are we finished?
No.
Oh, boy. One more person? Okay.
Sonia.
Okay.
Sonia Guidar from TLC.
Hi, good evening. I didn't plan to speak, but I will. My name is Talia Leriano. I am the satellite coordinator, so I am located in this address, 3rd floor from the DA's office.
Okay.
We are part of the Crime Victims Assistance Unit, so any victim, we assist, we help. I do have business cards on me if you guys want as well. And thank you.
I met you earlier, and I was just a little confused, so all right, so there's crime victims, and this young lady represents the
Community affairs.
The community, okay, so I got it, yes. Okay, thank you, and we'll reserve a card for us, please. All right, is that it?
Sonia?
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sonia Gior. I'm here from the Taxi and Limousine Commission, just with some information about some programs that we have. So the TLC licenses and regulates yellow and green taxis and also every car service in New York City. That includes Uber, Lyft. And we, as of this past year, require every single one of those car services to provide a wheelchair-accessible car if you ask for it at no additional price. So that means anywhere in the 5 boroughs, you can call your car service down the street, you can call Uber, you can call Carmel, Dial 7, any car service that picks up in New York City, and they legally have to give you a wheelchair-accessible car if you ask for it for the same price as if it was just a sedan. So if you know people that use wheelchairs, we're really trying to get the word out, please let them know. If you do call a car service and they say they don't have it available, or they say yes, but it's going to be $500 or something crazy, you can make a complaint on 311, and we are encouraging people to do that so that we can hold companies accountable so that everyone gets the service. Yes, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. And my question is, the TLC, what are you doing with regards to Gun Hill and White Plains Road? There are about 30 people standing on the corner saying taxi. Now, I don't have a problem because I'm not afraid. However, is this a TLC issue? Are you taking people with wheelchairs? Where does that stand as it goes to the normal resident who comes home from work and happens to get out of the train station on Gun Hill and White Plains Road? Where is the right? Where is the not right? Where does TLC stand as it lends itself to that situation?
That's a great question. So for car service in New York City, the car service drivers are not allowed to approach you. So somebody saying taxi, taxi, who's not in a yellow or green taxi, and you didn't book that car, that's a violation of TLC rules. And we have enforcement officers who issue summonses for that. And if I can speak with you after the meeting, if there's a specific intersection you'd like us to send officers to. We're a small team, we're not as big as the NYPD, but we do specific intersection based, so we would be happy to check out the location. But for passengers, just so that you're aware, we do encourage passengers to call a car service instead of getting into any old car on the street, because we background check and license and fingerprint and drug test all the drivers that are TLC licensed. And so we can at least track that trip as opposed to if you're just getting into a stranger's car. So
Okay. Good, very good question. Very good question.
What are you doing about all these car services using cars with straight plates?
we enforce against that as well. So similarly, I can give out my card up front. If you would like to make a report, you can do that on 311. You can also send me the report and I'll refer it to enforcement.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I never call 311 because I don't find them useful. But I will contact you because there's quite a few car services around here that use vehicles with straight plates. And what does TLC, one more question, apologize. We have Westchester County liveries coming down into the Bronx picking up passengers. Is that permitted or is it not permitted?
So if they have a TLC license, they're allowed to do it.
Oh, no, they have a WC plate instead of a TC.
Not all TLC licensed vehicles are required to have TC plates. There's kind of a gray area. I would be happy to look up the car service number for you and see if they are licensed to do business in New York City. It would be the car service as long as they're dispatching the car correctly.
Okay.
Again, I'll leave
Thank
my
you.
cards up front.
Thank you very
Anyone with a
much.
question, feel free to email me or
Thank you
give me
very
a
much.
call.
We have a couple of voting issues. I want to try to move ahead. We have one more question here I'm going to take over here, and we're going to move ahead.
My
So on.
My question to you, ma'am. The Transportation Committee would appreciate if you set a date for we to have a meeting with you so we can sit down and talk about the illegal car service who is employing the illegal car to work for those car company. So if you could sit down with us and have a meeting so that we can record something, so that the community in whole will have a better understanding of how it works.
I just want to say that's one of the committees we were going to be looking at in 2 weeks, the Transportation Committee. So that's something that's on our agenda, on our radar. Okay. Okay. I need to move because we have a couple of voting issues. Have we completed?
No, we have one more.
Oh, okay. One
Jai
more.
Rose from CCRB. Are you still
Okay. All right.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I will try to make this as brief as possible. I'm Jahai Rose. I'm the Deputy Director of Outreach and Intergovernmental Affairs from the Civilian Complaint Review Board. The CCRB is a city agency. We're separate from the New York City Police Department. Our responsibility is to investigate, mediate, and in some cases prosecute allegations of police misconduct. Police misconduct could look like 4 categories. If officers use excessive and unnecessary force, if officers are abusing their authority, if officers are being discourteous to members of the public, such as using foul and vulgar language and or discourteous gestures, and or if police officers are using offensive language, which is any language that negatively describes or inappropriately describes someone's race, religion, sexual orientation, perceived disability, and or gender identity. In addition to that, we also have, we do an investigation and or if it qualifies, we could also do mediation. I'm here before you today to let you know that we have a couple of things that are coming up. One, right now active is our Youth Advisory Council applications. It allows our young people to be able to have a say-so and speak directly to our board regarding ways that we may need to approach the conversation regarding youth and police and community relations. So the board members are not specifically young people. That being the case, we believe we leave that type of input from the experts, which would be young people themselves. Those that could join our board should be residents of the city of New York between the ages of 10 and 24. If you have any young people that you believe would be a good fit for this board, they meet 4 times a year, and they work on at least one project that would then be displayed to the general public. I have flyers in the back. The application process is a solely online process, and you can just go straight to our website for you to be able to have them apply. That's nyc.gov/CCRB.
I'm going to ask you to please leave some with Ursula Green,
Yes.
so she'll have
Yes,
the
they're definitely in the
copies
front.
as well. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And-
Thank you. All right. I need to move. Are we finished now?
We're coming.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm
so I
sorry.
just wanted to leave my
Okay.
contact information and just remind everyone, as mentioned earlier, there are ballot proposals regarding the charter, and one of those things does include questions about the CCRB. The questions will be in the front. It pretty much allows you to be able to have that direct vote regarding what police accountability is going to look like from the CCRB standpoint. We do presentations anywhere imaginable, from local churches, houses of worship, community boards, after-school programs, schools, and even on local basketball courts and during recreational programs to provide information regarding what the CCRB does, de-escalation regarding interactions between individuals and police officers, in addition to understanding the Right to Know Act, which is also in the front. You can reach me at 917, this is my cell phone, 917-208-9320. I'm going to repeat that. It's 917-208-9320 if you'd like a presentation for any way that you could think of. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay. We got to move on. We have to move. All right. We have one more person?
No, we're done.
We're done. We're done. Okay. All right. Now, what I'd like to do now is go to the land use vote. But before we do that, I just have a few things I want to say. All right. Carl Stricker has been a friend and the first vice chair for as long as I can remember. Now, I've got 31 consecutive years on this board. I don't even remember another vice chair. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, not only for your friendship, for your support, but for all the work that you have done. Now, I realize our democratic process has placed you on that side of the table, but
I'll be back.
but you still hold a very special place. And I want to say this, that you're our parliamentarian, and you're the chair of the Land Use Committee, and those are very, very important issues that need to be discussed. And I don't think there's anybody in this room that has as much experience as knowledge as you have. So if you permit me, I'll continue to tap into you. Okay? So, this boardroom.
No problem, Bill.
Okay? All right.
I don't come cheap, though.
Okay, I got you. So now with that, let's do our Land Use Committee vote if we can. Carmen, are you ready? Okay, all right.
Well, tonight we had let me stand up. Tonight we had a meeting on a request by Verizon to put a tenor on a pole at 3425 Roundabouts Avenue, which is right along the New England Thruway. And nobody came to speak in opposition of it. We had a nice presentation. Mr. Hall here had quite a few questions. And one thing I want to clarify, when somebody said that Boston Secor Houses was near the location, and I stated that NYCHA never shows up. I wasn't talking about the tenants. I was talking about the owner, the management of the center. They should have had more concern about the people who live in their buildings and have to put up with some pretty shoddy work that they do for the people that are paying their rent to live. So was not against the tenants because I'm a strong supporter of tenants' rights, but it was against the management at NYCHA. And not you, Mr. Board of Director. Okay, so here we are. We had the meeting. There was no opposition to it. We had a nice presentation. There was some discussion afterwards from board members to the legal firm that was representing Verizon. And my motion, so I'm going to ask for a yes to approve this antenna because it will improve your service in the area. Because at that location there, when you're driving along New England Thruway, talking on your phone, which I hope through Bluetooth and not by holding it in your hand, or if you're going and walking up Boston Road, or you're over by the Diary subway, you come into dead zones. And this antenna will eliminate the dead zone. So, I would ask for the full board a recommendation to approve their request. Can I have it, please?
Can we get a motion?
No, you don't
We
need a
need
motion.
motion,
I'm
we
just
just
asking for the
need-
approval of the meeting.
Of the meeting, okay.
All right, call the roll.
Approval of the meeting?
Approval of the antenna
Yeah, because we have-
installation.
We have to take two votes, one on approval of the report.
And one
number
for the
two,
antenna.
to send a letter.
Abdul Hussein? I guess he said, you said, aye. Aye. Alapco Franklin? Not. Benitez Judith? Not he. Bennett Egeria? Bloomfield Hillary? Not here. Bon Denise? Aye. Boraz Ivan Anthony? Borsata Carla Borsati?
Aye.
Brown Allen Marlene? Abstain. Brown Victor? Deacon Edward Brown? Not present. Norman Ryan? Norman? Abstain. Dr. Michael Burke?
I'm abstaining.
Abstain. Campbell Sadie is excused. Christian Evelyn? Not here. Clark Gale? Claude Jones? Cumberbatch Rabbit? Not here. Dickerson Toline? Not here. Eastman Lauda? Not here. Eckenberger Kevin? Not here. Evans Raymond? Not here. Figueroa Alfredo? Not here. Gibson LeGrand Barbara? Abstain. Johnny Goff? Aye. Okay, thank you. Green Chantel? Not present. Robert Hall? Dr. William Hall?
Aye.
Lisa Hayes? Not here. Isaac John?
Aye.
James Theodore? Lanzano Clark? I hope I say this right. Micah? How do you say your name? No, it's Micah Megalas. Okay. You have to excuse me in case I bubble it up. Okay. I, Martin Lucille. Not here. McLeod Murray. McNeil Walter. Not here. Mike Clinton? Not here. Carmen Ortiz? Aye. Frank Porter? Not here. Claudia Powell? Not here. Reed Anthony? Aye. Dr. Dina Robbins, not here. Felix Roldan, not here. Salki Icy May Thomas, abstain. Is that what you said, Salki? Carl Stricker. Tripico Shirley. And Nicole Weir, not here.
Okay, while Carmen is calculating, I just want to say this to you. I'm happy, very happy that the community and the community board shows up, and I respect your time. You have other things to do, so I respect the fact that you come here. That's why I try to get you out of here by 9:30, okay? So my issue is to conduct our business and get you home at a reasonable time. So I just want to let you know that I watch my watch for you, out of respect for you. So I try not to go past 9:30. I do believe we'll be able to make that tonight, but I think out of respect for your time, I just want you to know that I'm going to get you out of here. So, but thank you for coming. All right. We're going to go, she's going to calculate. While she's calculating, I don't know how many committee reports we have, but just kind of, if you can brief them and just review them. And remember now, we need your reports in writing because we need them on file. So start giving reports in writing as well. And you can give us a brief 2 or 3 sentence or 4 sentence, but we need that writing. And some of you do fantastic jobs. Some of you do fantastic oral presentations, but we need that in writing as well. Okay, so we'll wait a few moments. Okay.
We only have 19 ayes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 abstain.
7 no abstains. Okay. Nice. I think the ayes have it. Okay, Carmen, I think the ayes have it.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 19. What? Okay, we have 19 ayes, 19 not present, 7 abstain.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Yeah,
For
the
the
ayes have
report.
it. Now, I need a motion from the floor to send a letter to approving this. So if we can, somebody make the motion, and then you making the motion?
Yes. I would like to make a motion to send a letter in support of the Verizon
tower, the Verizon
tower.
All right, now let me ask, does anybody want to vote differently than they just voted in the terms of time? Yes? No? Okay, that gives us
Ivan, nay.
8, but do we still have, I think we still have the yeas. No, not on this, just
That's
the
it,
first.
we got it.
Okay, does everybody else want to remain? Okay, so
The motion carries.
motion carries.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, all right, committee reports, and it's 10 minutes after 9. Committee reports?
I could go quick.
Yes, yes, yes.
We really didn't have.
We have some unreadiness.
We're going for committee. I'll get back to you, Johnny. 2 minutes. Okay, we're going to hear you. We're going to hear you. We're going to hear you. Okay, first committee report.
Mine is real quick. The transportation and capital improvement. I need a vote on the Pratt Avenue retainage wall project. DDC came like a couple months ago and presented the project to replace a retaining wall on Pratt Avenue. It is part of that big project that we did with Buller Avenue. At the end of, I think, Buller Avenue, there's a wall that was collapsing. The homeowners didn't have money to rebuild this wall because it was like a collective with everyone in the community. So DDC came in and decided to use government funding to replace this wall. Being that it's government funding, they had to come to us to get like our blessing. So I'm asking support because this was an issue of health and safety. This was causing, I think it's almost $1 million for this wall. So because it's a really big wall.
Was that meeting held in March or April?
Yes.
Okay, I think I remember. Okay.
So we just never voted on everything was passed, the committee approved it and everything. We just needed the board to vote on it.
Okay, do we need a second? Do we need
Second.
a second?
Yeah,
Well,
second.
we have a second. Okay, all right, let's call the roll. Call the question.
This is to approve.
Oh, okay, you know what? Can we just stop for a moment, Carmen? Is anybody opposed? No. So, okay, I'm going to ask one more time. Anybody opposed? No. Okay, we got it. Okay, Carmen.
Aye.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
The Pratt Avenue returning wall.
No, we're good. Okay, all right, we're going to briefly go through committee reports, and then our first vice chair has something he wants to discuss.
So let me do parks right quick. So I myself and Ms. Bond was in on the Parks Committee meeting. My plan was to write this up, and I still plan on writing this up for the minutes. To make a long story short, Woodlawn Cemetery, who gave a fantastic presentation at the last meeting, is a level 2 arboretum, and they would like a letter of support in order for them to become a level 3 arboretum. And let me go into just briefly, a little bit of detail. Right now, they have 6,300 trees on site that's mapped by their GIS system. However, they were denied a grant from New York City and the state due to lack of urban communication, meaning you and I. So what the Woodlawn Conservancy is trying to do is they're trying to make a push to reach out to the surrounding community, Community Board 12, and others to showcase the beauty of Woodlawn community and the cemetery. So some of the partnerships that they currently have are with the New York Botanical Gardens, the MTA, the Bronx Historical Society, and so the idea is to showcase this arboretum. So as I said before, currently they are a level 2 arboretum, and they're trying to become a level 3 arboretum. What this means is that they will have more trees planted in the cemetery. Now, one of the things that they brought to our attention, and you've heard me talk about this as well, is that the more trees that you have, actually the better the health statistics will be for residents in the Bronx, because as you know, trees sequester CO2 and other pathogens, whereas of course, if we don't have that, then of course, so it's also a health benefit as well. So I need a motion from the floor for this letter of support from for Woodlawn Conservancy.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got the motion, and we got the second from Carl Stricker. Okay, all right. Do we need to call the roll? Everybody, can we get an agreement?
Aye.
Here we go. I like these kind of votes. Okay, very good, very good. All right, thank you. Education? Okay. Yes, Johnny, give her the mic, please. Stay there, Johnny, they'll give it to you.
Okay. I don't want to face the button. I'm part of the Education Committee. I'm speaking for the chair, Anthony, over there. I attend the CEC meeting, which is a school board meeting for District 11, the 83rd Assembly District, which is Carl Hasty, the 36th Senatorial District, which is Jamal Bailey, and of course our Councilman Andy King and Elliot Engel, our Congressman. We have 45 schools in District 11. 11 of those schools are elementary. We have a new superintendent, Christine Vaughn, which was attended our first meeting, I think
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
She was there about 4 months ago.
Here is the situation we are in. Out of 45 schools and 11 elementary schools, we only have 3 schools that are on target. PS 169, which is the Willie Bowman campus on Boston Road, where the old Baychester Diner used to be. Then we have 181, which is in Co-op City, junior high school. Then we have 498, which is an elementary and junior high school on Bronxdale Avenue across from Maestro. 45 schools, 11 elementary, and only 3 schools that is on target. When I mean on target, that means up to standard. You have scores from 1 to 4, and most of those schools that are not up to par have 1 and 2 readers and writers. That means our children are not doing well in the public schools in District 11. Carl Hayes and I have met, we have discussed it. The superintendent is trying to avoid us because we will be meeting. We cancel our meeting because we want the educational director from the Borough President Office, Monica Major, to attend the meeting with us. And of course, Julia McDavid from the NAACP. Listen up, folks. Our children would like to go to these special high schools. How can they get there if they're not prepared? They got to be prepared from day one, which is nursery school, elementary school, junior high school, and high school. Our children need support. If we don't support them, they're not going to get there. When we move back, they have to move forward, but they can't move forward if they're not educated, okay? So right now, we need to concentrate on our superintendent, Christine Vaughn, and our executive superintendent, Maisha Porter. Both of them have been at District 11, and both of them have been here, because we brought them here. I remember Ms. Porter saying that she wanted the same thing for her children in District 11 like she wanted for her daughter, who's now in the 3rd year junior in college. So I leave you with this thought. We cannot do it for our children. We have to support them and make sure the homework is done. And it starts from the home, the community, and then the school. It starts from the home, the community, and then the school. We're going to have some big rally here in January. We're working on it where we're going to have agency and the superintendent and the executive superintendent give account for what they're doing. On another note, on Thanksgiving Day, if you would like to eat at the Eastwood Catering Hall for free, you're welcome to come. We seat at 11:30 and end at 4, and there's music, dancing, and a free meal. This is all free on Thanksgiving Day at the Eastwood Catering Hall. I thank you and happy holiday.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. I want to make one point. Thank you very much, Johnny. One of the committees that we're going to be paying a lot of attention to is education, because this is very important. So we're going to do that. Okay, it's 9:20, so I want to, Bob, you're going to give a report on health? Housing. Housing. Before you do that, I just want to let everybody know, and I think you have a little more information than I do, about our Ursula Green, who works very hard here every single day for I don't know how many years, tomorrow night. So would you just give us a little review of what's happening tomorrow night with Ursula Green?
Okay. Before I even get to Ursula Green, I do want to say that Russ LeCount needs to be addressed with regards to trees on Holland Avenue between Gun Hill Road and Magenta Street. He brought this to the attention last November.
And we didn't vote.
And Parks, you have to deal with that. He's been crying every month.
Okay.
So please look into that.
All right, we'll address that with Parks.
We all take a lot of things for granted, ladies and gentlemen. We devote our time and efforts. Tomorrow night, Neighborhood Housing Services is going to give a presentation and an award to Ursula Green, who's going to give me hell for this, but she deserves it. Ursula, I'm going to catch hell for this, but nevertheless, she's been recognized by Neighborhood Housing Services, and also, it's the Great Gatsby. Tickets are $100. It's a fundraiser. Also, former Senator Ruth Hassel Thompson will also be recognized tomorrow night, and Jamal Bailey will be in the house. So it's deserving. We take Ursula's work for granted. We really defecate on her to ask her to do everything. And she's been recognized. And I just wanted to let everyone know, for those who won't be there, that she is very, very, very understanding. And I'm going to catch hell because she didn't want anybody to know. All right? Maestros. You got $100, I can get you a ticket right now. But I'm just saying. I'm going to get to you, Johnny. Hang on to that. Hang on to that thought.
Okay.
Going back to housing, we had a meeting last month. I don't even know the date. Very debatable with B&B Urban, and you've heard this over and over again. All right. The thing is with B&B Urban, they are going to build on 211th Street whether we like it or not. However, they needed a letter of support. They wanted a letter of support. Am I right, Dr. Burke? Dr. Burke, am I right? They wanted a letter of support from us. The Housing Committee has decided not to give them a letter of support. Now, the thing that is of major concern is the ingredients. When you have a developer that can come in as of right and do the work anyway, we must try our best to get all we can in the best interest of the people who are going to occupy this particular facility. And I thought we did an adequate job. I thought Shirley Tripico did an adequate job. She came up with an idea. We can get some of the personnel from Department of Homeless Services so that our people who are in need of housing in our Northeast Bronx area will get first crack at this 170 unit facility. That makes sense. The problem is when you do not give them a letter of support, which we're not going to do, you're kind of stabbing them in the back, and it's how you do it that is very important. And this is really anticlimactical. And I only say that because these people have allowed us 2 trips to see their facilities as they deal with mental health, nursing, issues of various sorts. The AMI is high. It will be a lot of low-income individuals getting an opportunity to ascertain housing. And this is definitely needed. But because we cannot stop it, all right, not giving them a letter is the direction that the committee is going in. But the problem is when they not get a letter, who says they're going to respond to us in the manner in which we need them to respond? We were asking for 24-hour security. We were asking for a neighborhood advisory board. This became problematic, all right? Now, at this point, I'm still hoping that we're still going to have that so that people can use that venue to complain about the needs when this facility gets established, all right? And at the same time, homeowners are going to raise hell because it may be overpopulated on Gun Hill and White Plains Road. All right, so these are matters that need to really be looked at, and the question becomes how we are going to address this in the future. All right, and it's very important. All right, so it's something to really think about. Now, we mentioned Ursula being awarded in Gun Hill houses, and I want to thank Pamela Hamilton Johnson because she came to the meeting at Gun Hill the other night and she delivered surveys that the residents in Gun Hill filled out for her with regards to the Neighborhood Advisory Board from Department of Youth and Community Development. And it's a first, but Gun Hill really represented with regards to this need in this particular area. So we're going to go forward with the hopes of getting some type of grant money, community block grant. So this is what we're trying to do. But 48 hours ago, I just received word that a riser came apart in Gun Hill houses, and there's 12 residents who are not going to have their stoves for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to take a tip from Johnny Goff because I got to get transportation because this is urgently needed. I need to provide something for these families, and they don't even realize that the process to get gas on their particular line it's going to be quite cumbersome. It may be 3 or 4 months. So it's going to be very problematic. And I'm looking now to find ways. So I'm listening to Johnny Goff. So I don't have the $100, but I may have a busload of folks coming to that event you have to start. So that's basically it. And other than that, that's all I really have to say.
Okay,
Thank
now,
you.
I need to get to my first vice chair because he has something he wants to say, but before I do that, I just want to mention that Ms. Claude is having a mental health conversation, which she has every year. It's sort of like a presentation seminar at the board. She's going to have it on the 26th of October from 11 to 2. I think refreshments are going to be served, I believe. And I was there. I attended last year, and it's very, very, very informative, very comprehensive, and she has very respected professionals that do come. And I would urge the community board to give her support because she works very hard with the Library and Cultural Affairs Committee to develop these presentations. So let's give her as much support as we can. Again, that's the 26th of October and from 11 to 2. Okay, it's now 2 minutes before, oh yes, Ms. Claude. Oh, that's this Saturday. Okay, that's the 26th. Okay, this Saturday. Okay, I'm talking like it's next Saturday, right? Okay. All right, now it's almost 9:30. Our first vice chair now has to give, I think before we adjourn, he has some things he wants to present to you. We want to give him that time. Yes.
Yes, can you please introduce the people that actually is now on the board in positions?
Sure. We have our first vice chair, Dr. Michael Burke. Our second vice chair remained, of course, the young lady at the end is always at the end doing the minutes. So thank you, Carla. And now Carmen's here tonight, and thank you very much, Carmen. Our person who was voted in is not here, so Carmen is just, pitch hitting.
Miss
So
Lisa Hayes.
yeah, so we just thank you again,
Lisa
Carmen.
Hayes.
So thank you, Carmen. Okay. So those are the folks, and our treasurer, Felix Rodan, is our new treasurer. So like I said, we'll be doing some structural changes to committees and chairs, and we'll be working things out. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you, Johnny, for your contribution. Continue, because we can't do this without you, and we need it to be done, especially addressing our young people. If we don't do it for them, there's nobody who cares enough to, okay? Okay, I hear you. All right, now let's go to before we go to adjournment, our first vice chair, and let's just give him our ear.
So with that being said, I'm not going to be long. So first of all, I want to thank, first of all, Mr. Stricker, as I said, for all of his years and all of his hard work. I said it last month, and I'll say it this month, and I'll say it to the end of time. I want to thank him for everything that he has done. And I ask that we give him a round of applause. That's first and foremost. And I would also want to say that for those of you who voted for me, and even for those of you that didn't, I'm going to work my absolute hardest to make certain that I honor each and every one of you on this board and in this community, and I'm going to do it with honor, respect, and dignity. And I want you to feel free, if you have any issues with me at all, please feel free to come to me. With that being said, I want to just expand on what Mr. Hall said, because he gave an excellent report, and I want to bring something to your attention why the developers are coming in, because it's not just B&B. Okay, it's JCal, who we heard from back in June. It's Stag, and it's all these other developments that are coming in. And if you notice, I always ask them a question. So at the last housing committee meeting, which was pretty contentious, I asked the developer the question, do you care about this community, right? He said, oh, of course I do, and all of this. And like I said, there were people in this room that were in that meeting. They said that he cried and all that. But then, of course, he accused me of attacking his wife, all right, which when I just made a statement. Now, many of you have known me. I've been on the board now. This is my, going on my 4th year. Do I seem like the type of person that would attack somebody's wife? But someone said yes. But
You're always going to have that one vote that you don't get.
You're right. But anyway, to make a long story short, if you know me, then you know that I'm not the type of person that will attack anybody's wife. But with that being said, a proposal was put together for the developer that said that we want to do something with you that would help benefit you, where you can make your money, and that would benefit the community as a whole. And that developer pretty much told us to go suck wind. I mean, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but to suck wind. And that's kind of sort of what Mr. Hall was talking about. So the reason is, why did this developer feel this way? And why do the rest of them come into this community? And so I want to take you back to 2011. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm going to talk about it next month, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. And this is where the Department of City Planning came to us in 2011 and decided that they want to rezone the entire area. And with that being said, I'm going to leave you with that, because what I want to do is give you a presentation and let you know that the reason that these developers are coming in here is because we were asleep at the wheel. So to that end, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, because I know that I'm sensitive to your time as well. I want to put something together for you and show you why they're doing what we're doing. Then I want to show you what a solution is. So the solution is to involve our new treasurer to get about some fundraising efforts so that we can do some things that I promised you that I would do, so that we can then be on the forefront, as Mr. Hall said, in the future, so that we can be proactive and not reactive to them. So you have my word. I'll hopefully have something together for you next month. And I will take a question or two, because I know, again, we want to get out of here.
I just have a rhetorical question that doesn't need to be answered, but I just want to ask the whole community board, what are we going to do in terms of lobbying so that this never happens in the future, right? So they just put in term limits, right? There's new now term limits, that are being infringed on us as community board members, as far, right? So if that can be done, why can't something like where if there's somebody that wants to build, where they can just disregard our vote or our approval? So I just want to leave it at that. What are we going to do?
We don't want to be here all night. It's already 25 to 10, but I just want to respond. You see, that's the issue when you're advisory. How strong is your advice taken when you're advisory? And that's the point you're making. Carl?
Question, because at one time we could do that. Prior to the re-ramping of the community boards back in '77, when this became Board 12, it used to be Community Planning Board 13, where you had control over what came into your community. Because I started on Community Board Planning Board 13 in 1969. Which is 8 more years than what I get credit for 12. Before anything could be done in the community, it went before the board voted on it. If the board did not want it, we were an advisory at that time. We had the power to stop it.
But we're advisory now, and that's what the issue is.
And we lost it in 1977 when they did it.
Good point.
Oh, yeah. No, when they redistricted everything. What we have to do is get back to the way it was prior to 1977.
That's the point I think you're making. Let's deliberate. Okay. Folks, 20 minutes to 10. I want to adjourn. I got 2 hands up. Ms. Gibson? Yeah. Ms. Gibson?
The reason I'm not going to vote for it is because he said it was his prerogative. So I said, oh. However, the traffic around Holland, 211, 212, you cannot move. And when they move in, and those that have money, they're going to own 2 cars instead of 1.
Here we go.
So
the
community is going to be a hub. And when my neighbors find out that I'm on the board and that I agreed upon this, even though it's out of our hands, they will not be knocking at my door telling me, why did you do this to us? The neighborhood just went with his building that they're building but no consideration for the traffic. However, they stopped the other project, and I think they own the land too, and I think that was MTA.
Okay.
And they did not build because of the traffic.
Okay.
We need not to build also because of the traffic.
All right.
Thank you.
To be continued. I would like to make a motion to adjourn. It's 20 minutes to 10. Final question.
Yes, I think that we should put a committee together for situations like this that happen, so we can be involved, like, you know, and we don't have to be talking about this. Like, once it comes to the community board and it's a concern, we need to have a committee that deals with the concern, because a lot of things come up, and you know, you don't have people that deal with it.
Like
so-
I said, we'll be addressing committee structure, function, and reorganizations. So we'll be doing that.
And to your point, that's exactly what we want to talk about. So that's said, let me put my thoughts together and then get to, and we're going to invite everybody. And that's why we really need somebody like Mr. Stricker, who's on land use, somebody like him heading this, and others that are concerned, so that we can do this. We need to bring in my ideas, bring in the treasurer, and I'll explain all to you next month. All right? So thank you.
Motion to adjourn. Remember,
moved.
guys, on the 19th, guys, on the 19th, we have to do our mandatory, but I'll get in touch with you. Motion to adjourn. Thank you. Thank you for a good meeting. That's what it's about. Take care. No, give it to Ursula. Talk to Ursula first, and then she'll work with me on this, on my time and schedule, and I will meet with you, because it sounds like you got an issue. Okay. Motion to adjourn. Thank you. Thank you for a good meeting. That's what it's about.